My name is John McCarthy and I'm currently a 1.8 handicap on the journey to reach scratch golf in 60 days. This week I'm a 1.8 handicap. Last episode I was a 1.9, so we've dropped 0.1 strokes. It's currently September 3rd and this challenge ends on September 13th. All right, so we're gonna go full practice mode today, no playing, but we're gonna dial in putting, lag putting, chipping, and short range 50 to 100 yards. That's my weak spot right now. My long game with the long irons driver is great. Hitting all the greens, hitting fairways. But once I get up by the green, I'm just completely selling the bag. 3-putting, not getting up and down. So we're gonna start out on the range here, just doing some nice approach shots, half swings with the towel. So you wanna keep this right arm kind of tighter to your body so you can just rotate through. And I've been getting a little armsy and letting it go away from my body. So warming up with this towel to help me stay one and connected through the swing. All right, so I feel more connected with that drill. Now I'm gonna work on 50-yard shots, 75-yard shots, and 100-yard shots. Really the contact with the wedges hasn't been there recently. I need to just be solid with my numbers, knowing that take it back to here and I swing through his 50 yards and just fully committing to it rather than being a little timid. So I'm gonna work on my distances here. Then we're gonna head to the putting green. All right, so now I'm working on these 100-yard shots and I'm using a 56. I kind of grip down on it. That's kind of my 100-yard club. If you can get a base at 50 yards, 75 or 100 yards, you know, just hit a little lighter if you want to go to 90. Or if it's 80 yards and you know you're 75, you're like, I just hit it a little harder and it'll go 80. So dialing in these numbers are important. I think this is going to take my game to the next level. I don't do this enough. Oh, that's 100 yards. A little more compact on that swing. I like to take it back to 3/4 and then you fire through. A lot more control. 100 yards, baby. All right, so we finished up with wedges. Getting the contact and the numbers down. I'm pretty confident with my 100-yard swing now, but I'm gonna finish these last few balls with something new in the bag. Check this out. Brand new, came in the other day. AI Smoke, Paradigm, not even open, never hit. Ooh. There she is, the AI Smoke. Have not hit this thing out the bag yet. I did get fitted for this, so I do know how it feels a little bit, but I'm excited to try it out with the last few balls I've got here. We also got a Ventus shaft in here, stock grip, and I think this is the triple diamond version of the AI Smoke. Not bad. It's not as high of a ball flight as I wanted. I'm keeping it a little lower right now. When I'm swinging, I don't have my shoulders slanted. I'm very upright. You need to be more like this to hit up on it. A little better. I'm gonna hit a few more drives with this AI Smoke, then we're gonna head over to the practice green. Hitting this thing so low. That was higher. All right, so we're at the putting green and this drill I have set up is probably the best putting drill I've ever done. You set up tees all 4 directions of the hole, 3 on each side, and you go through and putt from 4 feet, 6 feet, and then 8 feet. The 4 and 6 footers are for par, and the 8 footers are for birdie. You have to go around and try to shoot 2 under. And you cannot leave the practice green until you shoot 2 under. So it could take you 2 hours, it could take you 1 try, 10 minutes, but this gets you reading putts, it gets you seeing the ball drop and feeling that 4 to 8 foot range where a lot of strokes are saved. We're gonna do this drill until we go 2 under. It's currently 5:15. 4 footer for par. Money. I also just got a new putter as well. We got the Jailbird, baby. Look at this beauty. Trying this thing out, we're switching from a lab to this, so I gotta get used to this thing going into my rounds, but right now it feels pretty good. It's a lot heavier than the lab putter, but we're gonna dial it in here.
There's no stopping curiosity.
Oof.
I wanna turn the whole thing upside down. I'll find the things they say just can't be found. I'll share this love I find with everyone. We'll sing and dance to Mother Nature's songs. I don't want this feeling to go away.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are at a fork in the road. I could be done here or I could continue based on these two putts. 2 birdie putts left. I need to make both of them. I'm currently even par, so I made all the 4 and 8 footers, and then I missed the 2 birdie putts, and I have 2 more birdie putts to go, 2 under. Nice and easy. This putter's been feeling actually very solid. Final putt. If I make this, we're done with the drill. This one's a hard one. Slight left to right, downhill. We're not lining the ball up today. We're just going off field. That's what's good with this drill too. You get a feel of your lines, but slightly outside the cup to the left. Yes, sir. Come on. That is a drill completed. 2 under. Try that at home if you really want to get better at putting. All right, next up, we have a chipping drill. So I'm laying the towel down. I'm gonna try to land the ball on that from back over here. So I need to get better at my landing spots onto the green so I can get up and down every time. If you wanna be scratched, you gotta get up and down every time, if it's a simple chip. So we're gonna chip from here to the towel, try to land it on there, which should run up close to that pin. Just short. We're gonna move the towel back as we go as well. Dang it. Can't hit it. See, like, what was that? I've been doing the same chip and then I just launch it. I've been thinking recently, do I want to chip with a 60 or 56 degree when I'm on the side of the green? I've been normally chipping with a 60, but I feel like 56 might give me a little bit more control to bump it up. More of a bump and run rather than a high play. So I'm gonna play around with the 56 today and try to get a feel for that. And while I'm chipping, I wanna tell you guys about a story I heard the other day. It's the motivational part of the video. Let's go, inspirational. I heard this story the other day, and I think a lot of you at home could be inspired by it. So there's this kid that was 19 years old and he wanted to become a director for Universal. He had a dream to be a director, to do big things in the movie scene, and he applied to film school. He's like, I want to go do big things with Universal. I'm gonna go apply to film school, obviously. Applies to film school, gets denied. Applies to film school again, gets denied again. Over in California. He's like, shoot. Yeah, I like this feel with the 56. He's like, shoot, what am I gonna do? This is literally the only way to get into the industry, getting into film school. And he could have gave up, but he's like, I'm gonna take matters into my own hands. I have to, like, there's no other way. He moves to a school right near the school he wanted to go to in California, a community college. Better to put yourself around people doing what you wanna do than just seclude yourself in a small city. So he moves to California, by this film school, goes to the community college. And while he's there going to school, he goes to the Universal Studios theme park to go kind of explore around and see how they make movies, because they have that tram ride that goes around and kind of shows you some movie scenes. He hops on that tram ride. It was a little lower and we hit the towel. You need to get a feel for lower and higher. Goes on the train rides, looking at the scenes, and train stops for a sec and he hops off. He hides around the corner and the train goes away. Once the train goes away, gosh, we're hitting the towel. Hops off the tram, hides behind the corner, tram drives away, and he's just walking around these movie sets, these studio sets, and he's studying what they're doing here, what they do there. But when he's looking around, he turns around and there's a guy watching him. And that guy comes over to him and is like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be back here. And he responds to the guy, he's like, I'm sorry, I'm just a student. I'm an aspiring film director. I want to learn about this industry. And the guy looks at him and is kind of like impressed that this kid is taking his own path to learn. And he's like, you know what, kid, I like you. And he says, I'm the president of the library management or something like that. I want to give you 3-day passes to come back here and study whatever you want. And the kid's like, no way. So the next 3 days, he's coming back to the park to study the sets. And he's interviewing people on those sets. He's talking to directors. He's doing everything he can to learn. And after 3 days, the 4th day comes and he just walks in. He waits to the security guard, and the security guard let him in. So months and months, he kept going back, kept interviewing people, kept learning stuff. He was basically creating his own film school. But he's creating his own film school, and then he talks to that president from the start that he met, and the president says to him, hey son, at one point, you have to stop learning and actually go do something. You have to create something beautiful that people like and love. And he says, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna do that. So he stops going to the park. He takes 22 days to script, edit, film, shoot this movie that was 22 minutes long. And after the 2-week period of grinding it out, he shows it to the president. Getting some balls back here. My story's almost over. And when the president watched it, he was so impressed with what he saw, he took it to the vice president of production at Universal and said to him, you have to watch this. And the vice president was like, dude, I get these requests every day. Is it really that good? I don't have time for this. And the guy goes, if you don't watch this, someone else will. So the vice president watches it and he's blown away. The best film he's ever watched. The next morning, the vice president of the production calls this guy up, this 19-year-old kid, and said, dude, your movie was insane. I want you to become the youngest high-end producer at Universal Studios. And at the time, and maybe even not today, the youngest high-end producer ever. And he's like, of course I'll do that. What? And this guy I'm talking about is Steven Spielberg, one of the greatest producers in Universal and ever. The moral of that story is that there's all these pieces that came together for that to work out, for Steven Spielberg to become the youngest director in Universal Studios history. That one piece, that if we put all the puzzle pieces together, but one wasn't there, it was meeting that president of Library Productions when he got caught on the first day of being there. If he didn't meet him, this would have not happened, because that guy would not have connected him to the vice president of production. And without that connection, the vice president would not have watched his movie. So the moral of the story is, you gotta meet people. If you wanna chase a dream, you have to meet people. You never know who's gonna change your life, but there's that one person you're gonna meet one time in your life that will completely change your life. And this story was the vice president of Library Production. I forget that title, but it's something like that. And in your life, it may be a neighbor down the street that you had good relationships with. You gotta meet people. You gotta create your own film school. You gotta chase after it the unorthodox way. And you never know what a scenario will turn into. You never know what a relationship will turn into. You just gotta keep trying. You gotta keep persevering. And that's what we're trying to do over at JNA. We've met a lot of people that have changed the trajectory. There's one person recently that's just, if we didn't meet him, we would not be where we're at. I'm telling you. I call it the third door. There's always a front and back door, but there's a third door. There's another way in. You just gotta meet the right person, and there you're in. So as I end off the chipping here, it feels pretty good. Chipping with that 56, hit the towel there. I need to work on like controlling the loft. I'm kind of doing some low ones, some high ones, but I don't know. That's good. Soft mitts, soft mitts. But I'm gonna keep chipping out here. I'm not gonna play any rounds today. I'm gonna end it here. This is kind of a shorter episode and no playing, which is a little different than normal, but I appreciate you guys watching. This has been Road to Scratch episode 6. 10 more days to go. Let's reach scratch, baby. See ya.